The thing I love about biking, it allows me to think about the earth and the community around me. It allows me to hang out and do social things and go to places in the world that I wouldn't see otherwise. So it gives me a different perspective in life. I think everything kind of connects around community and being with others. My name is Cuong. I'm a doctor. I work at the University of Minnesota and also at a little clinic in South Minneapolis. I specialize in something called Med-Peds. It's actually a combination of internal medicine and pediatrics, and then I do further work in addiction medicine. A lot of my identity and the work I do surrounds who I am as a Vietnamese person, as a refugee living in Minnesota. I came here at the age of 2. My dad was a South Vietnamese officer during the Vietnam War. My dad had tried to escape Vietnam multiple times into other parts of the world in a safer environment. And I think they were in the ocean for like 5 or 6 nights in a boat. At one point, ran out of gas, ran out of food, were poached by sea pirates, and then one day just landed in Thailand. And from pure luck, we were able to come to the United States after that. A lot of the work I do, because I do it for my dad, I do it for my parents, and then I do it for my family overall, but I certainly felt a lot of pressure of making sure I gave back to them for all they have given to me. It also held a lot of perfectionism in me as a child. I grew up in public housing the first couple of years. I was one of the few Vietnamese American students there, and being in a very white community, it felt like a mixed identity to me. I remembered the journey that I had as a teen with my parents back to Vietnam and the poverty that I had seen with my own eyes and experience and what I could give back. And it's like, maybe I should do something like being a physician, not really knowing or having any mentorship around that. And I think I always wanted to maybe be a doctor, but I was afraid to say it out loud. I felt like, what if I fail? I'd be shameful or feel guilty that I've done something that I couldn't succeed in. So I made that switch, and I didn't look back. As a perfectionist, you tend to want to do things 150%, 200%. That meant like doing all-nighters, studying for several hours, despite the fact that it wasn't healthy for me for long-term needs and sustainability. And I realized I was working my butt off so hard as an undergrad that I wasn't enjoying life as much as I should, or doing the things that really filled my cup. So then I switched doing, let's do all the things I can do to help the world. I had decided at some point I needed to take a break from medical school and get back to my mission, my values that were important to me. So I took a year off between 3rd and 4th year, and I decided to go back to Vietnam. And I also said, well, during that time, I'm gonna do all this clinical work and really connect with my roots and then study for step 2, because I had taken step 1 and I had barely passed it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take more time to study for step 2 and get even a better score and prove to them I'll be a great doctor. That trip in Vietnam was wonderful. Did I study for step 2? Not really. I came back to the States and started studying for it, and I took the exam. And I didn't spend that much time thinking about needing to pass. I just assumed that I would just do well. But I was so disconnected to the test questions. They weren't the questions that I had experienced in Vietnam. It was a different clinical world. So I failed it. It was so shameful. I don't remember if I even shared it with my family at that point. I took that failure, I was so scared, it's like, maybe I won't become a physician. The mentors, the coaches around me allowed me to feel like, hey, this is just one more step. You'll make it through. It's not a mark of who you are. And so once I recognized that it's okay to fail, I felt okay. And I just hunkered down and recognized that, hey, I actually need to learn how to take a test better. And I passed. And I more than just passed, I had a great score. But I also then came to a place of knowing that, hey, if I fail, I can always get back up. It's a journey of growth and change and accepting the fact that it's okay to fail and there are more important things in life. And so I chose a career in Med-Peds and then trained at the university and then started working at Coop Clinic. Most of the people that came to that clinic were underserved, uninsured, came from immigrant families. And I just connected with them. I started seeing people that came in with issues with addiction or use disorders. It's taking care of their needs that they have that I don't see on a regular basis. When I see a patient come back to me and we rewind and look back in their past and where they were and where they are now, to see that change is 100% awesome. A lot of my work is around coaching and mentoring. It is uplifting people with different journeys and different identities. We need to make sure our future physicians, our people, have similar lived experiences with patients overall. And it's an opportunity for me to make sure they are growing in ways so they become the physician for their communities too. So the cool thing I get to do is leave the clinical room to be in community in places like the library or other places that my patients live. It changes the experience when I can just look at you eye to eye and have conversation with you and become more of a community member than really a physician. I tell people over and over, the journey of being a physician is really, really hard. If you really want to do it, you can get there. Remove what the ideal is in your head. And then recognize that journey is gonna be full of bumps. But it's gonna be okay because it's gonna make who you are today. So don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to be different. And don't be afraid to share your story. You'll find a place that you can be yourself and be a champion for others in your community too.